Alright, this is John Cola with OKRaw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. I'm all the way here in Santa Rosa, California at the True North Health Center. They've been water fasting patients for the last 30 years. One of the biggest topics in this day and age in raw foods is that, you know, when you water fast, if you undereat, man, you're gonna mess up your metabolism, then your metabolism is screwed up forever. No matter what you do, you're kind of screwed, man. So what I'm here to do today is to dispel the myths, learn what's accurate, what's not accurate, and learn how you guys could actually improve your metabolism by living healthily. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go inside and talk to Dr. Alan Goldhammer of the True North Health Center. So now we're here with Dr. Alan Goldhammer, and today we're gonna talk about metabolism and fasting. There's some kind of, people that may believe fasting may screw up or wreck your metabolism and all this kind of stuff. So I'm here with who I consider probably one of the experts in fasting, and we're gonna talk to him about this topic today. So Dr. Goldhammer, how many people have you fasted here at the True North Health Center?
Well, in the past 30 years, we've had over 10,000 people go through medically supervised water-only fasting at the True North Health Center.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody else that has fasted this many patients, and I've sent both my parents here, actually. So, Dr. Goldhammer, how would you say fasting impacts your metabolism? Does it make it better, make it worse, or what does it actually do?
Well, sure. In fasting, one of the adaptations to fasting is for the metabolic rate to slow down in a conservation effort. In other words, when you stop eating, as far as your brain's concerned, the goal is make sure to conserve resources so that you can survive until food's available again. And so there's a cascade of events that kick in which involve slowing down the metabolism as an adaptation to fasting. The misconception is that after fasting, that metabolic adaptation would stay down and that somehow you're going to then have a permanently or residually lowered metabolic rate, and there's really no evidence to support that at all. Fasting with metabolic function, as many other functions, tends to normalize function overall, although there is an adaptive response during fasting. During refeeding, metabolic rate returns to normal. The important thing is that initial refeeding period after fasting be done in an appropriate way. What can happen where people get into trouble is they'll fast and then they'll binge eat because they're using fasting in an inappropriate way. And that, of course, can create all kinds of havoc with people's health. But if you terminate a fast properly and you refeed appropriately, you feed within the adaptive capacities of the body, metabolic rate returns in concert to the amount of calories that you're loading. So, for example, we require our patients to remain at the center for half the length of the fast for supervised refeeding so that we can ensure that that be done properly. After a fast, we typically start with usually fresh fruit or vegetable juice, and then we introduce raw fruit and vegetables, and then once those systems are working properly, we can introduce more concentrated foods as are appropriate.
So would it be correct to say that actually fasting could normalize or, your metabolism, so if somebody's metabolism isn't working properly, it would actually improve the metabolism?
Well, certainly, because of its influence on digestion and assimilation, absorption, a lot of people whose systems are out of balance find that just through this very natural process, it works very much like rebooting a hard drive on a computer. You shut the system down, and then as it comes back in, you can reestablish your microbiota, your normal gut flora. You create an environment where the normal organisms can live and thrive and can help correct many of these imbalances, sometimes which are very difficult to diagnose specifically. Now, people have a lot of syndromes that it's very difficult to put an accurate label on, and yet they'll sort themselves out quite naturally just by getting out of the way and giving the body a chance to heal itself.
Interesting. So let's talk about some ways that your metabolism can be messed up. So what would you say some ways your metabolism can be messed up if you systematically underate or something? Could that mess your metabolism up? Or?
Metabolism is just a word that describes your body's adaptive responses to the circumstances around you. So if you think about who are the people that have disrupted metabolisms, it's people that have, for example, sleep deprivation. Sleep is one of our most important activities. People that have chronic deprivation of sleep, it affects many of their systems, not the least of which is their metabolic functions. People that are using stimulants, like highly addictive drugs like caffeine, okay? And that's true whether it's taken as caffeine pills or hidden in your coffee or chocolate or cola drinks or other things. People that are having too much or too little activity, too much stress. These can all affect metabolic functions and neuroendocrine functions and everything that's related to it. People with thyroid dysfunction. A lot of people are having thyroid problems now. Sometimes they don't even realize that dietary factors may influence their thyroid function. Something, if you happen to have gluten sensitivity, for example, and you continue to consume gluten, the immune system can react if it happens to react to your colon, we might call it celiac disease. But some people, it doesn't react to their colon, but it might react to their thyroid. And so if your immune system attacks your thyroid, it might be termed Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and now you've got a hypothyroidism that might be triggered by a dietary factor that you wouldn't normally necessarily associate with that. So and of course, things that affect the thyroid function can affect your metabolic rate. And so there's a lot of cascading influences that occur from relatively simple dietary indiscretions that can result in profound metabolic effects.
Wow. So what would be probably one of the worst things that you could eat that would mess up your metabolism the most that you could think of?
Well, I think that probably I would go to the drugs first. So particularly, commonly consumed dietary drugs.
Which are, for the people out there that may not be aware.
Nicotine, caffeine, alcohol, on down the list. Methamphetamine, stimulants, and the rest. But also, these foods that are high in the chemicals added to food, like sugar, oil, and salt. All of these can have profound effects on digestion, absorption, assimilation. And so we advocate people adopt a plant-based, SOS-free diet. SOS stands for the International Symbol of Danger, but it also stands for sugars, oils, and salts. These are the chemicals that are added to food that fool the brain, alter satiety mechanisms, lead to overeating, and resulting in the diseases of chronic excess that you see around you, the obesity, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, and the autoimmune diseases like colitis and lupus and asthma and eczema. All of these cascading, increasing frequency syndromes that are told, patients are told there's nothing can be done, and yet there's a lot that can be done. But the one thing that they're told has nothing to do with them often is diet. And the one thing that you need to control if you're going to be successful in managing them turns out to be diet. So it's not surprising that many of the specialists in the medical field will tell their patients that none of their patients will ever get well, that they'll have to be on drugs the rest of their life. The only thing they're absolutely certain about is that diet has nothing to do with the condition. And yet that turns out to be one of the important things in managing or improving the situation.
Wow. So would it be accurate to say that if somebody adopted a whole foods, plant-based, SOS diet, would their metabolism normalize naturally?
Well, it will depend on what it is that's altered the metabolic function to begin with. Diet's an important issue, as I mentioned.
Yes,
sleep is an important issue.
And they got enough
appropriate
sleep.
activity.
And they got enough activity.
And also stress management. So I hate to say that it's just the diet.
Alone. Yeah, sure.
I think, unfortunately, health results from healthful living, which means we have to do all the things involved with healthful living if we want to have the best chance of recovering our health. So diet, sleep, exercising, and when appropriate, fasting.
And that you could normalize your metabolism.
For a significant percentage of people that have altered metabolic function, they're going to notice a normalization over time with those interventions.
All right, so I hope that answered your question if fasting messes up your metabolism, and also share with you guys how to normalize your metabolism. Dr. Goldhammer, if somebody wants to learn more about the True North Health Center, they could come here to go on a water fast and reset their metabolism, more importantly, get proper education so that they can go out into the world and eat easily a whole plant-based SOS diet. How can they do that?
Well, they could go to our website at truenorthhealth.com, and you'll find an information-intense website available. If they're interested, they could complete the registration forms, which gets me their medical history, and they could call for a free phone consult, and I'd be happy to, try to answer questions and give them an idea of the kind of things we do might be of use to them. And our phone number is 707-586-5555.
Wow, I definitely would encourage you guys, if you're in the need to normalize metabolism or have other health challenges, talk to Dr. Goldhammer. He was the first person I turned to when my parents actually had some health challenges going on. And he's definitely helped them, and I believe he can also help you too. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time. And remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best. Raw.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. We're here in Southern California, and today we're at actually the Hyatt Westlake Village, and this is the